You're doing at least 3 of these right now. Every single one is grinding your lifters to death. And the worst part, they all feel completely normal. 7 engine habits that GMC owners do every single day without thinking. Habits that are silently destroying the most expensive component in a 5.3 or 6.2 V8. Every fix on this list is free or under $250. Every failure costs $3,000 to $15,000. Stop doing these. Seriously, let's go. Habit number 7, and the most common habit on this entire list, is never checking your oil between changes. You set your oil change at 5,000 miles, or maybe you let the oil life monitor tell you. Either way, you don't open the hood between changes. The truck runs fine. No warning lights, no weird noises. So why would you? Because your engine is drinking oil and nobody told you. GM5.3 and 6.2 V8s with A, FM, or D, FM consume oil by design. GM's official standard, right in the owner's manual, is 1 quart per 2,000 miles. Some DFM engines from 2019 and newer consume a quart per 1,000 miles. GM considers this normal, not a defect, normal. Do the math. You change oil at 5,000 miles. Your engine consumes a quart every 2,000. By the time you pull into the quick lube, you're 2 to 2.5 quarts low on an engine that holds 8. That's 25 to 30% of your oil volume gone. And the components most sensitive to that loss are the AFM lifters. Here's why. The lifters that deactivate cylinders depend on consistent oil pressure to cycle correctly. Engage, disengage, engage, disengage, thousands of times per drive. When oil volume drops, oil pressure drops. The pump pickup tube gets closer to air on hard turns, hills, and braking. The lifters start cycling on inconsistent pressure, not zero pressure, inconsistent. That's almost worse because the lifter partially engages, partially disengages, and the wear pattern that leads to collapse accelerates every mile. The fix takes 30 seconds at the gas pump. Pop the hood, pull the dipstick, check the level. If it's a half quart low, top it off. Keep a quart of the correct weight behind the seat. That's it. That's the entire fix. 30 seconds at the gas pump or $4,000 at the shop. Pick one. But this next habit does something to your oil that most owners have never even considered. Habit number 6, short tripping the engine. Driving 5 to 10 minutes to work, parking for 8 hours, driving 5 to 10 minutes home. Day after day, week after week, the engine never fully warms up. Here's why this kills lifters on a GM V8, and not just any engine. Oil needs to reach at least 212 degrees to evaporate the moisture that accumulates inside the crankcase. Every engine builds condensation. It's a byproduct of combustion gases slipping past the piston rings. On a long drive, the oil gets hot enough to cook that moisture off. On a 5-minute drive, it doesn't even come close. That moisture stays in the oil. Water mixed with combustion byproducts creates acidic compounds. Those acids attack metal surfaces, including the precision machine surfaces inside your AFM lifters. Over weeks and months of short trips, you're running your lifters on oil that's part lubricant, part acid bath. And it gets worse. Cold oil is thick oil. Even full synthetic at 0W20 or 5W30 doesn't flow at full efficiency until it reaches operating temperature. The AFM lifter passages, the tiny oil galleries that hydraulically control the deactivation mechanism, need oil at a specific viscosity and pressure to function correctly. Cold, thick oil flows through those passages sluggishly. The lifters engage and disengage slowly, incompletely, on fluid that isn't doing its job properly. Now here's the compounding factor. AFM activates during city driving, even short trips. Your truck hits 35 miles per hour in a 30 zone, load drops, ECU says save fuel, 4 cylinders shut off. 2 minutes later you brake for a light, accelerate, and they come back. Over and over. Your lifters are cycling on cold, thick, moisture-laden oil that hasn't reached operating temperature. That's the worst possible operating condition for the most failure-prone component in the engine. The fix is free. Once a week, take the truck on a 20-minute highway drive. Let the engine reach full operating temperature and stay there for at least 15 minutes. This evaporates moisture, circulates hot oil through every passage, and lets the lifters operate in the environment they were designed for. Your truck wasn't built for 5-minute commutes. Once a week, let it breathe. Stay with me here. This next habit feels like the most responsible thing you can do. And it's doing damage. Habit number 5, letting the engine idle for 10, 15, 20 minutes to warm it up. Remote start from the kitchen table. Let it run while you finish breakfast. Walk out to a warm cabin, put it in drive, and go. It feels like you're being gentle, taking care of the engine, letting everything get up to temperature before you ask it to work. Here's the thing, idling is the worst operating condition for AFM lifters. At idle, the oil pump turns at its slowest speed. Oil pressure drops to 25 to 30 psi, compared to 40 to 60 psi at driving RPM. The lifter galleries are getting the minimum oil flow the engine produces. And here's what nobody realizes. AFM can activate at idle. If the ECU determines the load is low enough, and at idle in park, load is as low as it gets, it will shut cylinders down. Your lifters are cycling on and off at the absolute lowest oil pressure the engine makes. That's not gentle. That's the highest risk operating mode for the deactivation mechanism. Extended idling also creates uneven thermal cycling inside the engine. The deactivated cylinders cool down while the active ones stay at combustion temperature. Metal expands and contracts at different rates across the block. That uneven thermal stress doesn't cause lifter failure directly, but it contributes to the carbon buildup and deposit patterns that make everything else worse over time. Let me be clear. The engine does need a moment after cold start. 30 to 60 seconds of idle lets oil circulate to the top end and lets the RPMs come down from cold start fast idle. That's fine. That's appropriate. But 10 to 15 minutes of idling in the driveway, that's not warming up. That's running the engine in its weakest state for no benefit. The correct warm-up, 30 to 60 seconds of idle, then drive gently. The engine warms up faster under light load than at idle because the RPMs are higher, oil pressure is higher, and more heat is generated across all components evenly. You're not warming it up, you're wearing it out at 0 miles per hour. Quick thing, if you've been doing any of these and you're just now realizing it, that's exactly why this video exists. Hit subscribe. I break down the habits, the maintenance, and the mistakes that cost GMC owners thousands every single week. And drop a comment. Which of these 7 are you guilty of? I read every single one. Now, these last 4 habits are the ones that do the most damage in the least time. Habit number 4, trusting the oil life monitor past 50%. The monitor says 50%. Owner thinks, I've got half my oil life left. Drives another 3,000, 4,000 miles. Changes at 5% or when the light comes on. And they feel responsible about it. The truck told them when to change. They listened. But here's what the oil life monitor doesn't know. It doesn't measure oil condition. It doesn't measure oil level. It estimates remaining life based on mileage, temperature cycles, and engine load. It's an algorithm, a good one, designed for a theoretical engine that isn't consuming oil. Your engine is consuming oil. At 50% oil life, you might be a quart and a half low. The remaining oil is doing the work of a full sump, running hotter, shearing faster, depleting its additive package sooner. The friction modifiers that protect lifter surfaces from metal-on-metal contact are breaking down faster than the algorithm accounts for. The detergents that keep passages clean are used up faster. By the time the monitor hits 15% on an AFM engine that's been consuming oil the whole time, that fluid is barely protecting anything. The monitor was calibrated for GM's original oil change interval, up to 7,500 miles on full synthetic. That interval might be fine for a naturally aspirated engine without cylinder deactivation that doesn't consume oil. On a 5.3 or 6.2 with AFM that burns a quart every 2,000 miles, 7,500 miles is too long. The oil can't maintain its protective properties for that distance under those conditions. The interval that works, 5,000 miles on full synthetic. Period. Regardless of what the monitor says. On an AFM or DFM engine that consumes oil, 5,000 miles is where the math makes sense. The extra $20 to $30 per year in oil changes is insurance that costs nothing, compared to what depleted oil does to lifter surfaces. The oil life monitor is a suggestion. The lifter replacement bill is a fact. And habit number 3 happens every single morning. Habit number 3, flooring it on a cold engine. The morning launch. You start the truck. Maybe it idled for a minute, maybe 30 seconds. You back out, pull onto the road, and the on-ramp is right there. You floor it. The engine goes from idle to 5,000 revolutions per minute within 60 seconds of starting. And it feels fine. The truck responds, no warning lights, no hesitation. But inside the engine, the damage is already happening. The majority of total engine wear across every engine ever made, gas or diesel, occurs during cold operation. The first 60 seconds after startup is when oil film thickness is at its minimum, when metal clearances are tightest, and when every bearing, cam lobe, and lifter surface is most vulnerable. On a GMV8 with AFM, this is amplified. The AFM lifters have tighter mechanical tolerances than standard lifters. They need specific oil pressure and oil temperature to cycle correctly. Full throttle at cold oil temperatures forces those lifters to cycle under maximum load with inadequate oil film. The roller on the bottom of the lifter rides the cam lobe with less lubrication than it needs. Multiply that by 4,000 revolutions per minute and you're accelerating. Wear that compounds over every cold morning for years. The fix costs nothing and takes 5 minutes of patience. Drive gently. Keep RPMs below 3,000 until the coolant temperature gauge reaches normal operating range. You don't need to baby it, just don't launch it. Light throttle, moderate RPM, normal driving. Let the oil warm up and flow properly before you ask for full power. 5 minutes of patience every morning saves $5,000 eventually. And habit number 2 is doing more lifter damage per mile than almost anything else on this list. Habit number 2, driving with AFM active while towing. You hook up a 5,000-pound trailer or a boat or a loaded car hauler at 7,000 pounds. You press the brake, shift to drive, and pull onto the highway. Maybe you hit the tow haul button. Maybe you don't. Either way, AFM is still on. Let me be clear about something that shocks most owners. Tow haul mode does not disable AFM or DFM on most GM trucks. It adjusts transmission shift points and enables engine braking on downhills. But during steady-state cruise, 65 miles per hour on a flat highway pulling a trailer, the ECU determines the load is manageable and deactivates cylinders to save fuel. Your truck is shutting down 4 cylinders while pulling a 7,000-pound trailer. The lifters are cycling under maximum engine load. Engaging, disengaging, engaging, disengaging. Thousands of times per hour under sustained stress. The oil pressure demand is high. The heat is high. The mechanical stress on each lifter roller and cam lobe is at its peak. Mechanics call this towing your lifters to death because the deactivation mechanism was never designed to cycle under this kind of sustained load. This is the fastest way to kill an AFM lifter, not low oil, not cold starts, sustained cycling under heavy towing load. The failure timeline compresses dramatically. Lifters that might last 150,000 miles in normal driving can fail at 70 to 80,000 with regular towing on active AFM. The fix, a range disabler at around 250 or an equivalent plug-in device that keeps all 8 cylinders firing all the time. Under towing load, this isn't optional. I covered this in the upgrades video. If you tow anything over 3,000 pounds more than a couple times a year, this is the single cheapest insurance your lifters will ever get. Your truck is shutting down cylinders while pulling a 7,000-pound trailer. It's saving pennies and spending thousands. The most expensive habit on this entire list, the one that turns every other habit on this list from a slow problem into a catastrophic one. Habit number 1, hearing the lifter tick and turning up the radio. A ticking noise from the top of the engine. Cold start. Maybe it goes away when warm. Maybe it doesn't. You Google it. You find 50 forum posts that say, lots of 5.3s tick. It's normal. Mine has been doing it for a year. Just drive it. So you turn up the radio and you keep driving. Every single week, a 5.3 or 6.2 comes into the shop because the owner drove on a ticking lifter until the engine was done. Every single time, same story. I thought it was normal. I read online it was fine. I didn't know. Now you know. A collapsed lifter is grinding against the camshaft lobe thousands of times per minute. The roller that's supposed to roll smoothly has failed. It's stuck, damaged, or making partial contact. Metal is being removed from the cam lobe with every revolution. That metal enters the oil. Contaminated oil circulates through every bearing, every passage, every lubricated surface in the engine. It's sandpaper in your bloodstream. Here's how the cost multiplies. Stage 1. The tick appears. Lifter replacement, possibly a new cam. Be $3,000 to $5,500. Catch it here and the engine lives. Stage 2. 5 to 15,000 more miles on a ticking lifter. Cam lobe is visibly ground down. Metal debris has damaged adjacent lifters. Oil system is contaminated. Full lifter set, new cam, oil system flush, possibly new oil pump. $5,000 to $7,000. Stage 3. Another 10 to 20,000 miles. Metal debris has scored the crankshaft bearings. Cylinder walls show wear from contaminated oil. The repair costs more than the engine is worth. Engine replacement, $6,000 to $12,000 on a 5.3, $8,000 to $15,000 on a 6.2. Stage 1 to Stage 3 can happen in a single year. I've seen it in as little as 20,000 miles. The fix, the moment you hear a persistent tick from the valve train, get it diagnosed. Not next month, not after vacation, not after you save up. Now. $3,000 at Stage 1 is a lot of money. It's also a third of what Stage 3 costs. And Stage 3 is a truck that needs an engine. A tick you ignore for 6 months becomes a knock. A knock you ignore for 3 months becomes a tow truck. Don't ask me how I know. 7 habits. All of them feel normal. Most of them are free to fix. And every single one feeds the same failure, AFM lifter collapse, on the most popular engine GM has ever built. Stop driving 2 quarts low. Stop short tripping without a weekly highway run. Stop idling for 15 minutes in the driveway. Stop trusting the oil life monitor on an engine that eats oil. Stop launching it cold. Stop towing with AFM active. And the moment you hear a tick, stop driving and start diagnosing. Every habit on this list has a fix that costs nothing or close to it. Every failure costs $3,000 to $15,000. The gap between those two numbers is your decision. If you want the deeper dive on engine protection, watch Never Do This to Your GMC Engine: 5 Deadly Mistakes. And for the product solutions that protect your lifters, the disabler, the catch can, the right upgrades. Watch 5 Cheap GMC Upgrades Everyone Ignores. Gold mines. Stop doing these, your lifters are begging you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.